Hey guys, fishing and stuff. Today we're building a next level PVC rod rack. I built a PVC rod rack about 2 or 3 years ago. The video got a lot of views and a lot of people liked it. Personally, I liked it too. I mean, it was affordable and it was easy. Anybody can do it. When I built that rod rack 2 or 3 years ago, it cost me like $46 to make it. The main reason being because it had like 22 joints in it. Well, a little while back, I went to the pawn shop. How you doing? And I seen a rod rack in there that was so simple, it was almost genius. Is that your idea?
Oh yeah, I did those a long time ago.
And I like simple because simple usually means affordable. Well, I went to the hardware to buy the stuff to build this rod rack, and boy was I in for a surprise. PVC has got expensive. And this right here is what's expensive, the joints. I mean, the cheapest joint I saw was like $3. Well, the original rod rack I made had 22 joints in it. You use the average price of a joint, which is $4, and you multiplied it into 22, it's gonna cost you over $80 just for the joints for that rod rack. Well, I'm wanting to build a rod rack that'll hold 24 rods. So if I made one of those rod racks that I found at the pawn shop, that's 24 joints. That's like $96 just for joints. And if I built the original rod rack, I'd have to build 2 of them to hold 24 rods, which would be like $170. PVC getting a little bit out of hand. So standing in the store, dumbfounded, I started thinking and I come up with a better solution. What you'll need for the rod rack I'm building today is 2 10-foot, 1.5 inch stalks of PVC, which is $28. You'll need one 1x10, 10-foot long, which is about $18. You're gonna need a can of spray paint, which is about $5. And you're gonna need some wood stain, which is $4 and optional. So let's get started and let's get this thing together. I started 3 inches from the end, made a mark. Then you measure 5 inches, 5 inches, 5 inches, 5 inches, all the way down the board, times 2. When you get to your last one, measure 3 inches, and that's where you cut your board. So 3 inches from each end, and then every other mark will be 5 inches. Then 2 inches and 2 inches. Now the next thing we're gonna be doing, I got a 2-inch hole saw. Everywhere I put a mark, it's gonna get a hole drilled in it. Just for the record, the proper way to drill these holes is to drill halfway through, flip the board over, and drill the other way through. But this project here, we don't really care what the bottom side looks like. Next, I'm gonna get some sandpaper and I'm gonna clean this thing up. So I sanded this thing down pretty smooth. I even rounded the corners off. I just put a little round on it with my sander. I didn't want to really route the top because I can't route the bottom. Now in your build, you might be able to route the top and the bottom. It just depends on how you build this thing, because I'm gonna show you a couple different ways to do it. Next, we're gonna take our other 1x10. We're gonna lay the one that we've already finished with on top of it, and we're gonna mark out the location of the circles. Now I have all my holes marked out on my bottom board. I'm gonna take one of these, I don't know what you call it, an auger bit? I don't know. I'm sure somebody will leave it in the comment section. It's not like the hole saw that goes all the way through it, but this will make a flat hole. And I don't want to drill all the way through the board, so I'm going to take it down about as deep as this thing is thick, which is probably 3/4 of the thickness of this board. But anyway, I don't want to drill this hole completely through. Yeah, this thing's kind of cheap. I actually got it from Harbor Freight, but it did the job. It made a mess too. Crap everywhere. There's so much dang sawdust on this board, I missed one. So I got my top and my bottom board cut. The next step is to cut my PVC. I bought 2 10-foot lengths and I need to cut them down to 10 inches a piece. Now normally I would use my PVC cutters for this, but since I gotta make 24 of these, I'm just gonna cut them with a bandsaw because it's faster. So the end goal to this rod rack I'm making is I'm gonna make this thing float like it's just being held up by air. But in order to make this thing float, we're gonna need something to hold this level up. Now you could get something like this. This ain't nothing but a gas pipe with 2 flanges. You could use something like that to hold it up. And the height is really up to you. Or you could just cut you a couple of boards and screw them in there. I've had this angle iron for a while, and I'm gonna cut it up and make me a base. Then I'm gonna come off the base with a bracket to hold it up. Now, if you can weld, you can do it this way. But if you can't weld, this would work pretty good. And if you can't weld, you could make you something like this out of gas line. You could bolt this up and under and use it like legs. I mean, that'd work. Or you could just cut you a couple of boards and screw them in there. But the way I'm gonna make mine, I'm just gonna use angle iron. But don't be deterred because I'm welding, because there's all kinds of ways to do this. Well, we got the frame done for our rod rack, but now we need to put these legs together. I got everything cut out the size that I needed, and now I just got to put together. All right, so I'm working on my legs. I got them tack welded, but I ain't through yet. But on the front of them, I welded on a little plate, so it ain't open, and it looks a little nicer. I'm gonna cut up some of this rebar, and I'm gonna slide it inside and tack weld it down so it don't rattle around. I'm only doing that to add more weight to the base, because it's going to have 24 rods in it. I didn't feel like pulling out the big saw, so I pulled out my little saw. This little hunk of junk came from Harbor Freight. I bought it years ago. You can tell I don't use it. It's got cobwebs all over it. But it's actually pretty handy for this type of stuff. Now I got my rebar inside of my legs. I'm gonna weld my legs onto my frame. And the main thing is to get this level. I'm about as close to level as I'm gonna get, I think. Guess what? I recently purchased me a Hellcat. Not that kind of Hellcat. I'm talking about these kind of Hellcats. Look at that. That's beautiful. It was just time for me to upgrade my rods, and I've been using ugly sticks for a long time, but the ugly sticks just don't have the backbone that these Hellcats have. And they're just pretty nice rods. I mean, I really like them. I like how clean they are, and I like the black eyes. Everything on these are just clean. They got the aluminum reel seats. They even got the gimbal butt ends on them, and I like that too. But I really do like these Hellcats. That's the reason I need a rod rack that holds 24 rods, because I've got 12 of these, and I'm gonna get 12 of the green ones too. So I got some super nice rods, and I need a super nice rod rack. Everybody has their own opinion about rod and reels. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not pro staff for anybody. I bought these rods with my own money. I bought these reels with my own money. It's just my opinion, and my opinion is these things are awesome. So I got all my PVC pieces painted black, and I got my rack painted. And it took a whole can of spray paint. It was a pretty big can too. Next, we're gonna sand down the wood again, because I got some dirty spots on it. Just in case you're wondering what kind of stain I'm using, right there it is. Somewhere. Gun stock. There it is. So I'm using gun stock because I like guns. Gotta stain the upper one and gotta stain the lower one. On the lower board, it doesn't really matter if we stain the bottom here. Just stain a little bit of this edge, because PVC is gonna be in it and you're never gonna see this anyway. This thing turned out pretty dang awesome. These pieces of PVC, you can glue them down here if you want. I'm not gluing mine. I just got them set in there so I can change them, put longer ones, whatever. I don't see the need to glue it because the frame holds all of it together. They're just sitting there and there's something to stick your rods in. You actually could drill these holes smaller and just put your rods in it. You don't even need the PVC. So I'm gonna move this thing and I'm gonna stick some rods in it and see what it looks like. Well, that rod rack right there turned out awesome. I really do like the way it turned out. Hey guys, if you've never seen one of my videos before, then you should go over to my channel page and check it out because I got a long list of DIYs that'll help save you some money. If it turns out you do like it, then click subscribe and ring the bell. That way YouTube will notify you when I post videos and you can watch them. And then you won't miss none. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying?
Click subscribe, people. What you waiting on? What you waiting on?
Yeah, well, he said. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next build.